Town of Alexandria. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting dated February 8, 2012?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Elsa Bodine, seconded by Doug Williams. Any further discussion? Motion passed. May I please have a motion to approve the bills to be paid?
Make that motion. I guess I'll begin.
Okay, motion by Brent, seconded by Elsa. Any further discussion? Motion passed. At this time in the meeting, we'll open up the floor to public comment.
Or anything?
Yep, ready,
Okay.
ready.
Yeah, I just had some questions about the dye test that I know started, okay? And Jamie came to my house, and I talked to him and stuff, and I denied him because I was trying to follow what you guys sent out, how it stated that the town supervisor, Dale Honeyman, and the engineer, Rob Anthony, along with Jamie, were gonna come around and talk to the residents, I thought, according to what I read here, with any questions. So what happened there?
Well, we're still investigating it, and we'll be around to talk to you. We're trying to catch you when you're home, so I haven't made that call to your place yet.
Okay, but I wanted to talk before they did the dye test, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Just because I had some questions about, what do you expect somebody to do if it fails, they show failure? I mean, I don't have enough property to run proper leach, anything different than it is, because that's, you know what I mean? I don't have enough property to run it proper. I just wonder what you guys are gonna want us to do if somebody fails. If I fail or somebody else does, how are we gonna address that when I don't have enough room?
Well, we're probably gonna have to bring in our...
I think we're trying to get a grant.
Right.
The more we can find wrong, the easier it'll be
Well,
to get the grant.
Yeah,
Right.
Get a
and,
sewer up there.
yeah, and, I mean, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Russell made a statement about failures could be beneficial for funding. I mean, is that how we're all looking at this?
That's what we're looking at.
I mean-
I think the board is of the impression that the only real fix to this problem
Is
is a public sewer down Otter Street. The only way we're gonna be able to afford that is to get some grant funding.
Right.
And you're gonna score a lot higher on the grant funding if we can show the failure of the existing systems.
Right.
I mean, there's no way that the town board can order people to fix something that can't be fixed.
Right, well, that's kind of what I wanted to know. Just like to know, where my position is, and anybody else on Otter Street that has any questions, about that.
Based upon the discussion that we had at the last meeting, and I think it was led by you, Randy, it's pretty evident from, your experience that there's probably a lot of failing systems
Right.
along that street, and the only fix is gonna be
Yeah.
public sewer. But that's what our impression is.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of like, I know that we got that runoff deal, the pipe and the water and stuff, and I know there was some californ and all that stuff in there, right? So, but I just wonder, I mean, when you do a place, so are you just looking there, or are you looking around the grounds of the person's place too? Because you could have a failure somewhere else, not just down there, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, I'm not the guy, I'm not qualified to do the stuff or nothing, but I'm a little concerned about that it's done correctly for everybody's benefit, that's all,
Okay.
And, like I said, I mean, I didn't have no big disagreement with Jamie, with Mr. Pateman or nothing, I just told him I wanted to follow the way you guys, I thought, you're gonna do this first, or whatever, and then, at least talk to what homeowners want to be talked to first, and then do the dye test. That's all, because I have some questions. That's all.
Okay. Okay,
And I guess that's all I got to say.
yeah. Is there any other public comment at this time?
On the sewer system on Otter
No,
Street?
no, any other public comment on anything?
Well, I just listened to Randy speak, and I'm in exactly the same boat. I would like to, I thought there was going to be discussions as well, and of course there wasn't. So I'm sure if my door and asked to put a dye in my door. So, I, like Randy, would like to have somebody to talk to discuss it.
Okay. Can I meet with you after the meeting and I'll get your name and we'll set up an appointment so we can come up with the
Yes, you may.
engineer?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion to come before the board? Okay, going on to old business. The first thing on the agenda is the ethics policy resolution. Joe, would you explain this to the public a little bit about what it contains?
Well, we prepared a local law for the board to consider to update the board's ethics policy. When we looked into the general municipal law in New York requires each municipality to adopt its own ethics policy consistent with the provisions in the general municipal law, which basically deal with public officers, elected and appointed, and public employees, and how you conduct business in office and outside of office, that sort of thing. Deals with things such as procurement and not procuring things from a business that, one of you own, for instance, that sort of thing. And it details a bunch of other things. But the policy before you, in essence, follows the general municipal law and details basically the standards that municipal officers and employees must follow. It's about as simple as that.
Okay.
You introduced this local law at your last meeting and scheduled a public hearing for tonight. So the procedure would be that you would open the public hearing for comment, take any comments, then close the public hearing, and then you can either act or not on the proposed law.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public hearing on the ethics policy resolution.
Second.
Motion by Doug, seconded by Alcid to open that up. Is there any comment on this?
Is it too long to read?
Yeah.
It's been in the front office for a month.
Right.
Oh, it wasn't available online?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Motion to close,
I'll make the motion. Second.
okay, motion by Alcid, seconded by Brett. A motion to adopt the ethics policy. Motion by Doug Williams, seconded by Brett. Any further discussion? Motion to pass this? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. At this time, we'll open up the cemetery beds. We'll do the cleanup first. It's 2 separate beds. This one's from Clements Lawn Care. They realize they have to do 6 cemeteries, town office property, and 1 town barn property. Clean up trees, shrubs, trimmings, and the quote on this for the 2012 season is $1,500. And he does have insurance. The next one is from Mike Tiao. And the cleanup bid on this is $6,467.45. And proof insurance is attached. And that's for all 6 cemeteries, town office, and town barn.
How much is that?
6,400. Last bid is from Creek Bend Lawn Service. Spring cleanup, preparing cemetery for the summer. And their bid is also at $1,500.
That's a one-time deal.
Motion on this?
Gonna need a motion. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to hold off on this for just a second.
Okay,
I think maybe we should talk to Dave and see if he wants to clean them up.
okay.
You think you would like to clean up these cemeteries?
Yeah, we do the barn
Yeah.
and other stuff
Why
anyway,
don't we
so.
just forget to clean up and have our.
I think they
own
just
guys-
separated the bids, was it last year, because remember when the people bidded on it, some of them bid with and without, and there was a lot of confusion, so we sent them out
Let's,
separate this year.
I think let's
You wanna
table
put that in
this
the
just
form
for a
of
few
a-
minutes. Let's move on to the mowing first.
Okay.
Let's table this for a little while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we've done we've hired a lot of the fill-in and the
Yeah, we
stones and
spent
stuff repaired over the last several years. We spent quite a bit of money doing
a
that.
pretty easy year. So, and we can take care of that.
Okay, this is from Clements Lawn Care. And it's the 6 cemeteries, town barn, and the town office. And the bid for the 2012 season is $11,000. This is from Mike Tiarao, and the mowing bid for the cemetery's town property is $26,837.67. And this is from Creek Bend Lawn Service. And the bid on this is for $10,000 for the season.
Did we ask for the dates as far as when we're doing?
It usually starts in May.
I saw that said Memorial Day, October 12th.
Right.
This one says
No,
Memorial Day.
10,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 10,000, 1,500, same.
Yeah.
Obviously, as long as it's.
Yeah, he started April 22nd.
Mhm.
October, yeah. Oh, what's that one?
Yeah.
Memorial Day?
And there's no end date on that.
No, he said
Just- it
he's
just
gonna have
talks
special
about the
attention,
holidays.
just special attention on Memorial Day 4th.
Yeah.
They'll be
So
mowed
that
on
means
them.
they'll be doing it on Memorial Day. The other one said they'd start on the week before.
Yeah,
Memorial Day.
but he said, he might start earlier. All this says, he's gonna give special attentions on them days to make sure they're cut.
Yeah.
Because last time
And
was,
that's cheap in the morning, yeah.
last time we had some, they weren't cut at the right time, but he got a late start. He got a late start, because we put the bids out late. 10,000.
All right. Pleasure of the board.
So we want to do the first one in-house?
Huh?
We want to do the first one in-house?
Well, no, I'd like to do the cleaning in-house.
Right.
Have Dave clean up cemeteries and make the motion to accept creek bend.
For the moment.
You okay
Motion
with
by
that?
Elsa Bodine,
I'll second it too.
second by Doug Williams.
They're local people.
You know, there's,
Okay, you're going to
Couple
have
more.
David do the
cleaning.
cleanup, and the mowing is going to be done by Creek Bend.
Creek Bend.
Thank you.
You gotta help. Like that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we are on item number 3 under old business. We've already talked about Williams' property. And so the next item under old business is the foam installation at the arena. There was 2 bids in your packets on this. One from American Green Spray Foam. And
Square footage don't come out the same. Well,
no,
That second bid, does it have the fire retardant?
yes, remember we talked about that, it had to be fire retardant, and he said it was. Spray thermal barrier, right. So the first part of the bid on the American Green Spray Foam came in at $69.75, and that was for 4,700 board feet. And then and that's at 2 inches thick. And then the next bid he proposed to us was 3,920 board feet of 2 inches thick. It was a different type of cellulose foam, and that came in at 6,100. And then we have to, according to the county, I talked to the county on this, it has to be fire protected or fire rated because it's in a enclosed building, open to the public. And to put a metal liner over it was $8,970. The fire retardant coating over top of the first bid of $6,975, that came in at $5,760.
On top of the 6,900?
Exactly, yes.
11.6.
And this is for one end, and it's at the end where the entrance door is into their arena. And the second proposal we have is with 2-inch closed cellular foam. And that came in at $3,600. And then doing the protective over the foam was another $2,000. And that bid came in at $5,600. That's just to do one end.
Was the first one just for one end there?
Yeah.
Yes, the first one was for one end. Yes, Alan?
Yeah, can I ask a question? I'm not familiar with, but the end that you're talking about, isn't that the end that was gonna be removed for the sometime in the future expansion that the blueprints are outlined?
Yeah, but we don't know when, we don't know how far down the road that's gonna happen.
But it's
So
a
we're
lot, it's
trying
a lot
to-
of money to put into something that's been there for a long time that someday you're looking to expand on. that
It
would
might be 10 years
completely
before we
torn down for what?
do anything
And-
over there.
Second, was there an engineering firm that recommended the building be spray foamed, or is that just something?
We
that-
talked to our town engineering on it, yes, and they thought that was the best way to take care of our condensation problem in the arena. We're getting a lot of humidity in there with the warm weather and stuff like that. It's causing some moisture problems. So we thought this, and we
Just
talked to
seems to me
them.
like the $10,000 you're talking about would go a long way towards future expansion projects, but.
I mean, we can table it, look at it later.
It's gonna cost us money if we don't do it. I mean, sometimes you gotta fix up the old stuff before you can get the new stuff.
Yeah.
We aren't gonna get anything new for a while.
No.
No.
I can't foresee
I
it.
mean, what was our
Okay.
electric bill last year in September when we were making ice? It was pretty warm in September. Now, I went through the electric bills with Tracy, and I don't remember it being crazy. Tracy, you had ice in September, right?
Yep.
Electric bill was somewhat normal from when we went through those bills?
We went to the bill shop.
I mean, that's the big deal here, is that we're trying to, if we foam the end of that building where the prevailing sun and everything else is on for most of the day, we're gonna try to save a bunch of money. And I don't know that, these prices, I think, are higher than what we had originally talked about doing now.
Because we gotta seal it.
Yep.
That's why. We weren't planning on sealing it.
And the solar panels got energized when? That wasn't until October, was it? Anybody know?
I don't think that went online until maybe in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was after the ice was down.
So the electric bill that we were looking at didn't have the solar panels in it in September and October when it was warm.
The biggest thing with that end towards the arch is, if you've been down and looked at it, is that's gotta be sealed somehow. The other end is already solid and sealed. That end is actually open. We've actually put insulation and some repairs to try to seal it up.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm just kind of looking at, we got a gas situation at the town barn and some other things that we got to spend money on. And what's the priority here?
Well, eventually this will save us money,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I gotta agree with Elsa. Eventually, it's gonna save us money down the road. And I don't foresee us doing too many major changes at the ice arena in the near future.
No. Well, if that's the case, let's go ahead and do it then.
Is that a motion from you, Doug?
Yep.
I'll second it.
Motion by Doug Williams and seconded by Elsa Bodine to accept the bid of $5,600 to do the one end at the ice arena in 2-inch foam. Can I have a vote on that, please? Or,
Yes. I'll vote for it.
okay,
Yeah.
motion passed.
I mean, realistically, we've talked about a building project, it's a long, long ways away. We got a lot of other things we gotta
Just to follow up.
take care of with infrastructure before we can go
The
take
building
that
I
whole
leased,
wall out of
the
that
building I
building.
leased downtown, we had a spray foam company come in, and I think we spent around, it was a little over $20,000. And one of the original things of the project is the floors are so cold upstairs. And we inquired if they would insulate the floors from the bottom up. And, I mean, this gentleman, he's, a trained professional in insulation, and he said that you would not gain anything by insulating the floors from underneath, that the floors the heat will naturally seep the highest point and come down, and that the cold air will seep the lowest point, and that you'll never insulate the floors well enough to keep any of the cold air from rising up through. It's not cost effective. And I would think that would be similar with the ice rink, because you're chilling the concrete floor. The cold air from that floor is not going to rise. The heat created from the sun beating on the building down there is not going to sink down to the floor. It's going to rise and try to escape. I mean, to insulate the walls down there, I really don't see where you're going to gain anything from it. But I would seek the advice of an installation expert. Because I did, at first, when he explained that to me, I did not believe it. And I went and Googled it on the internet. And he's right. The amount of insulation you have to put in the floor of a building like that to retain keep the cold air down and the hot air from penetrating, it's not cost effective.
If you look at that wall down there in the daylight, there's two different types of siding in the front or the top and the bottom. There's a gap, there's two big gaps that you
Yeah,
can
I know.
see. We were down there with the engineers and you can see all kinds of light through it. So there's a lot of places for
But I do know there's a lot of
escape.
other surface area down there that the sun can beat on and collects heat. And the more you seal at that end, you're going to keep the hot air in the roof of that building. It's not going to have anywhere to escape.
Okay. Going on at this time, I'd like to open up this is under new business. We're going to open up the floor to Albertine and Courier Architects. They more or less want to introduce themselves to the board and the services that they provide to her here in the community. Gentlemen, it's all yours.
My name's Mike Albertine, and this is Brian Jones. We're partners at Albertine and Courier, architects, engineers, and land surveyors. I founded the business in 1999, and we started out doing architectural work. We've expanded over the years. We've been in business for 12 years. For about the last 5 years, we've been rated about 18 to 20 people. And the main reason we're here is just to let everybody know the depth of our services, and just make you aware that, well, mainly that residential is only about 10 to 15% of our business now, and I think a lot of people think that we just do residential. So Brian's going to talk about architecture.
Yeah, so the architecture, we have 3 architects, and like Mike said, we had in the past done quite a bit of residential, like we did Nobby Island. We've done a lot of residential projects on the islands, but we've slowly gone into more commercial type work. We do a lot of municipal work, and then we're now doing a lot of federal work all over the country. And so we have a pretty diverse range of services. For local projects we have going on right now, we've got the Clayton Riverwalk Pavilion. This just started on construction. That's a really nice project. We've got in Rouse's Point, which is up on the northern New York border, we have a border crossing station with Homeland Security under construction. We got the hospice of Jefferson County just finished construction.
As far as the municipal work, we've done highway maintenance barns, town offices, fuel storage depots. We've worked on salt barns, pretty much full range of municipal work. We've done some water and sewer projects. And we also have a 5-year indefinite delivery contract out at Fort Drum, in which we do engineering and architectural work, surveying work. Right now we're surveying the perimeter of Fort Drum, which is about a 60-mile distance.
We also have engineers. We have a structural engineer, we have a civil engineer. We also have our own land surveyor. So we're a relatively small firm of 20 people, but we have, for a firm our size and that small, it's unusual to have your own engineers and your own land surveyors. So it's a really nice benefit for clients to have all that in-house. We have pretty low costs, so we don't have to sub out, and we also have a quick turnaround time. So it makes a big advantage with us. For our civil work, we have extensive sewer and water experience, site planning.
Our civil engineer has actually done probably half a dozen shooting ranges, machine gun ranges, pistol ranges, heavy civil engineering work out in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Fort Drum, Missouri, Virginia. And our land surveyor is actually one of the leading land surveyors in the country. He gives seminars around the country and does 3D training models and teaches how to do those models and how to upload into the heavy equipment for 3D machine control with GPS.
We are now a certified woman-owned business, so that's another avenue we took the company into. We also have our own design-build firm, which we will build your project and design your project all under one name, which is a really nice advantage for some clients that want that kind of service. We did Trinity Church Edition. We did, what else we did?
St. John's Church in Cape Vincent was one of the first projects we did. And a couple of large residential projects we've done with that company. So I guess our main purpose was just to make everyone aware that there's other options and that we're here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on new business is our baseball and softball fields. I'd like to, excuse me, I'd like to see if we could get some work done up there this spring on them and seeing if we could get some junk taken out of there and get them cleaned up. Dave, can you help us on that?
Jimmy and I were up to look today, you said that Brian was thinking about drainage. I don't really know if it needs any drainage up there because you're close to rock rather than fill in the low spots and do some grading in that middle field that they want to add.
Right, yeah, Brian did us a proposal on it, and it come in at $4,500, and I told him that we didn't have the money in the budget this year to do that.
Plus, I kind of got a problem with it. When town owns that, it was the idea to do that, you know, to have it for our kids in this area. It's on town-owned property and town-maintained. I just assume do it ourselves. I don't really see,
Yeah.
there's a couple of low spots up there, but the property also rises on the outer perimeter, so you're not gonna drain it only so far and it's gonna come back. I think we take some of the high ground and shove it in the low ground, you know,
So you
and
can
level
go-
that, and
You can go up there and do that.
it's not a big expense. Yeah, I don't think you're looking at a lot of materials and, you know, we can do it with our own equipment. As far as the junk up there, I'd like to see us address something with the Hearts for Youth or anybody who uses that facility. Maybe draw up an agreement or something that they're responsible for the garbage cleanup at the end of the, you know, all of it isn't coming from there, because I've been up there to some of the games where they actually have the kids police it at the end of the day and take it. I think the problem is they're leaving some in the barrels and people are getting up there, and animals and stuff. Those blocks, we looked at those today. Some of them are good. I don't know, a lot of them are broke. I don't know what you want to do with
We were up there
them.
the
I mean,
other
the
day,
broken
yeah.
ones, you know, we can put in with fill or something, but the,
We were up there the other day, and there's another way that they're accessing that from another entrance.
yeah, there's
And
two ways they're coming up.
Coming in there
through-
and doing spinnies on the field.
Oh, yeah, they come up through that
We
clearing
we need
halfway
to
up the
put
road.
something across, or put a pile of stone or something there to block that other entrance.
I'm just wondering if we can kind of straighten up that orange snow fence there and that back fence in the big field there.
Yeah.
And then we can maybe get the Hearts for Youth to do a work detail up there to go up and pick up the
That
garbage
fe-
and
that
stuff.
fence is theirs, the one that they've got right behind the field, that snow fence, the orange fence, we can look at that and see, a lot of that's just falling down the way.
Right.
But Brent, the part you're talking about is a clearing halfway up the road, right, where they're coming right up through the clearing by
You know, it's
the
all the
water
way up
tank?
top, where we were parked right up top there the other day, all of a sudden this 4x4 came up this hill by the,
Yeah, on the back side where that clearing is, they're driving right up through there.
there's a trail.
You know where Tim Soller's house is?
Yeah.
There's a lane, it's just an open area that they drive up through.
So we can kind of block that off to keep them
Yeah, I think we
out.
can stop the cars and the vehicle, but you're not gonna stop the four-wheelers, they have such easy access on the back side of that, it's,
I wonder, and seeing it's our property, I wonder if we could go ahead and post that so we have some kind of a legal issue to stand on if we catch them up there, you know, and they're doing damage to our fields.
I don't know.
Never gonna catch him. You can
You're
post
probably
it,
right there.
you can post it, you never gonna catch him.
You're probably right.
But I don't have a problem, Dale, I meet with you and the coaches and stuff, and we'll go up there and kinda see, I think it's not a major project. As soon as
Were
I
you
get
up there
Brian
to-
up there, so we can do that.
Were you up there today? Because
Pardon?
I walked up there this afternoon and they're in that one dugout, the whiskey bottle and all the beer cans.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Hi.
Yes.
Good evening, my name's Jason Lynch, I'm actually a board member for Hearts for Youth as well as a coach. I went down there and surveyed the area with Brian Umstead, and the issue is, there is a huge drainage issue in there. And I know I have other coaches here that have played on that. That, where it drains into is supposed to be another field, which we can't even use because of the lack of the drain. And you are actually right, Brian did talk about taking some of the remainder of the dirt and leveling out with some high spots and low spots. But
I
we've
mean, it's
gone
pretty
through
close
this-
to rock up there. I don't know if he's gonna, if you put a drainage system in, you're gonna have to put a catch basin,
Yes, sir.
bury the pipe underneath, which
Yes,
is
sir,
gonna
that
be
was
quite
the actual,
costly.
we measured it out, it was roughly 260 feet. To do a catch basin, run it 260 feet. With where he proposed to run, it actually is a down off, it runs down. The bottom line is, I mean, we lack fields, and we have two relatively functional fields that we can use for over 100+ kids. So getting time to get our kids in there, we need that third field. And this would actually make that field functional. And I mean, I can't stress to all of you how important that is, especially to
everybody that's volunteering their time and putting their time in the community to get that done. Brian Umstead also is, he's gonna donate the labor and the equipment. So I mean, it's a very good opportunity if we can find, and even if we, not even the full amount, he even said, if he can't get the full amount, tell him what we can do, and he'll work with us. Because we're also looking at asking other people for donations and so forth to try to we gotta get these fields completed.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
Excuse me?
Yes.
My name's Julia Earth. I once worked for Hartsview. Also helped with the teams as a assistant coaching, being there with them. And what just gets me is, when we talk about the trash up there, if there's barrels and the kids put the trash in it, you mean to tell me the town can't drive up there and pick up trash once a week when they're there mowing? And then when we get back to our ice arena, I don't use the ice arena, but I do not begrudge anyone or anyone in this community that ice arena. My tax dollars, you guys spend, money goes into that ice arena day after day after day. And I think it's a great thing. We live in the North Country, kids skate. But kids also want to play ball. We are like the only town without decent ball fields we can play on. We have to rely on begging with the school to let us in there after 6 o'clock. And with the rain issue last year, that was hard to do every year. And every year, people from Hearts for Youth, community members, coaches, they come to you and say, hey, we're asking for 3 ball fields, and 2 are practically done. And we can't get 1 ball field done, and then you turn around and say, we've got to clean up the trash after ourselves. Do ice skaters, when they're done at hockey, do they take the trash home with them? No. And if you talk about the ice arena creates money for the town, well, that all depends on how you look at it. Does it create money, or do we just keep putting money into it that it goes around and around? All this community would like are 3 ball fields for kids, over 100 kids, year after year, to play baseball and softball. And if you look at other towns, Evans Mills, 1 flashing light in Evans Mills, and they have ball fields we can play on. Every other town, if you get in your car and drive to all the other towns and look at their ball fields,
they're beautiful.
You should be
Absolutely beautiful.
ashamed.
They come here and I'm ashamed.
It's sad. We don't, and everyone says, oh, Alex Bay, Redwood, now we've adopted these Redwood fields. Some people say, oh, we ought to play at Redwood. Hey, they're town fields. If the town is willing to support the community and kids who want to play ball, the kids want to play ball. They don't care where they are. If they're in Alex Bay, they're in Redwood, or whatever. They just want fields to play that are decent. I mean, they can't play softball up there right now because, a softball field's different than a baseball field. And that middle field where we have the drainage issue, besides, gullies, you can't run that field without breaking an ankle. So we're talking about rolling, and I've heard, year after year, oh, we'll get someone up there in the fall, we can't do it till after this, we'll do it in the spring. The season comes and goes. I have pictures of families and kids who've been up there and cleaned. People who volunteered time and time again offer to. There was an issue like you can't have people who aren't town employees on town field doing cleanup, but now you can. There's always something. It would be nice. I speak for community members, the kids who play ball, that this is an important issue to everyone, not just the 100 kids who want to play ball. Just like the ice arena is an important issue to our community, so are ball fields. Decent, respectable ball fields. That's me. Thank you.
Jason, are you gonna be free this week?
Yes, sir.
David?
Yep.
Can we get with Jason, we'll go up there and we'll take a look and see what's gotta be done? Okay.
If
Yes.
I may, Keith Johnston, I'd also like to show my support. I've coached up there 4 years. And I can tell you personally, I've had to cancel 4 games and forfeit 2 because of the conditions of the field. where we've gotten up there, we were told it was gonna be mowed, and I'm looking at calf deep of grass. That happens occasionally, but it happens way too frequently. 3 games last year we had to cancel because it was ankle-deep water in the whole infield. It is an embarrassment. I realize there's a cost with it, but it's our kids. We've got to figure out what the priorities are. This is a one-time deal. We're not asking for bleachers and big, huge dugouts. This is something that is part of the infrastructure of those fields, and we fix it, it's going to go away. It's definitely something we need. Regarding the trash, I personally think the coaches should have the kids go out and police it up and put it in the trash can. I do that all the time. But I am not hauling town trash away in my personal vehicle. Sorry, that's unacceptable. This is town property. There's nothing wrong with the town coming up there when we do our maintenance and having the trash removed. I think that expectation is very unrealistic to have coaches and parents do that. But it is an important issue, and we do need to have this addressed. 4 years, it's been the same conversation every year, and I have not seen anything happen on those fields.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we ever,
Yes, Kim.
And I'm Kim Bradley, and I'm here to support the ball fields too. And another problem that we have is bathrooms. With young girls are at the age where they need to have a bathroom, if you understand what I'm speaking of. They have to have a bathroom. There's certain things you just shouldn't have to do in a field. And that's something that needs to be addressed too. All these other surrounding communities have beautiful fields, they'll have porta potties, or they're close enough access to a bathroom. And then there's Alex Bay, who has all kinds of money coming into this community, and we can't even have a ball field. Look at Clayton. They have beautiful ball fields, beautiful Cyril Park. They've done it the right way. We need to do something the right way. Thank you.
We'll take care of it this week.
Thank
Be
you.
up there.
there's no money that's currently budgeted for that on a year-round basis, for maintenance. I said there's no money budgeted for that for maintenance per year.
I don't know, I have to look at the budget. I think there is something in there.
Yeah, but if we can do a lot of it in-house.
I mean, I would think if we put X amount of dollars into it per year, we could start taking care of the problem.
Right,
Besides what you're gonna do with David, I'm just saying.
right.
You know.
You wanna go up with this? You wanna go up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda, under new business, is, I'd like to see us, we got a problem with our Redwood sewer plant over there. The roof is leaking, the shingles on it are over 20 years old, or are 20 years old, I should say. And the roof is starting to leak pretty bad. I'd like to see if we can get a list of bid materials, and I'd like to do it in metal this time instead of shingles. And I'd like to see the work get done in-house on this, if possible. But first, I'd like to just see what it's gonna cost the town to replace the roof on that sewer plant. So, could I get David to go ahead and go out and get some bids on the material?
Also, you're gonna want to keep, are you gonna put solar panels on eventually, hopefully? So you're gonna want to address that, how we're gonna, what panels we're gonna use, what we use for roofing. And the metal's better for that than the shingles, right, Rob? For the most part, although.
You can do it on either, but, whether it's a screw through roof or a standing seam, but like we did a standing seam on this one, so it makes it easy, you don't have a penetrating fast.
Okay,
It's a little better, but it's a little more money for the roof.
okay, I was thinking just about, if the metal was just the screw-through style instead of the standing seam. We'd be okay with that on that.
You could, just a different bracket, of course you have to screw through the roof,
Right,
but either works.
okay.
Is there money in the maintenance for that building for the Redwood sewer?
I don't know. If there's not, then we gotta put it in this year's budget, coming up in 2013. But I'd like to get an idea of the cost now, so when we prepare the budget this fall, we have a general idea what it's gonna
I
cost us.
think there is money in maintenance for that Redwood sewer.
I do too, there's money in
Not
there.
much, but it's something that's gotta be addressed. It's not a very big facility, I don't think it's gonna be any big expense if we put it over,
Money
so.
there already.
There's no valleys in it.
Either one way or the other, we gotta prepare ourselves to go ahead and
You
move
can't
forward with
just
the
let
job.
it leak.
Okay, moving on.
But I'll get it measured, just get some price of materials and go from there.
Right. The Brownfield grant, just to give you an update, we're still at a stagnant thing on this. I talked to Bill Jessmore on it, and he can't do any more on it until April 1. Right now, they're under the gun to get their budgets done, because New York State budget is approved by April 1st. And he said, to be honest with me, he says, I can take a look at it after April 1 and we can move forward from there. I'd like to get closure on this by the end of the year if possible. He doesn't seem to think that that's gonna be a problem. I talked to him on it. He said at the latest, it would be next spring, at the latest, to get closure on this. This has been going on for 4 years. Martha tried to move forward with him and she got the same answer I'm getting. So I think if we just keep applying the pressure there, we can finally get it moving, get it off the table. Item number 4 is I'd like the permission from the board to go ahead and form a committee for senior housing. And Dee Brown out of Redwood is interested in chairing that committee. I just would like the board's pleasure on moving forward on that, to see what available grants we can find out there to see about construction of some senior housing here in the township.
We're gonna need it pretty soon.
So,
How about you guys?
I'm fasted.
and as long as we're talking about the seniors, there's been a new chair at the senior committee. John Massey is the chairman of the senior committee here in the township and the village, and Janice Gilmore is his assistant for this year, 2012. Item number 5 is the arena contract. I've talked to Joe. I'd like to see some kind of a contract drawn up that when people come in, they're from the outside area, that we have a contract signed by them, if it's gonna be on, and that's what we need to discuss here, is how the board wants to proceed, if they want to pay first, send a check in before they get on the ice or something. But we need something to protect ourselves, so we have our money in place. In other words, they just don't come in and use it and then say they're gonna send us a check and we don't see the check down the road.
You know, you're not referring to the people we do business with now, you're talking like, something like the privateers again, you know?
Right,
We're gonna
somebody
keep
like
our
that, an
contract-
outside user, nothing to do with
We're gonna
minor
keep our
hockey or figure
contracts the way they-
skaters or anything like
Okay.
that, no.
That was my concern.
Regular
Right.
customers
What
are
about the
fine.
Jags? Nothing?
No, nothing with the Jags, they're fine.
So it'll never
It's
happen.
just outside users. Somebody comes in, say an adult group comes in we've never done business with before.
Yeah.
I want something drawn up so they understand
But just like if you use a facility, they need to deposit, follow the guidelines and stuff,
Right.
and pay it when they're done.
exactly.
Good idea. I just didn't wanna mess with the other.
So I'd like to have Joe go ahead and draw something up that we have in black and white so they understand the procedures. It gives us something to stand on if we have to collect money or something, you know, it gives us something.
Oh, do we have a motion on that?
Yes.
A motion by Elson, seconded by Doug.
Thank you.
Just talk about the water bill there, or we're waiting for the village.
We're waiting on that. And as long as we're talking about the arena at this time, Patty Wagner from the school sent the board a letter, and they want to use the bumper cars again this year like we let them use last year for 1 hour, and I'm gonna need a motion on that.
This is not gonna interfere with anybody.
We did it last year.
I know we did.
It's for the,
Tracy, do you know the date and time?
I didn't know, I heard this letter was coming, but I didn't know anything
they'll
about it.
work with Tracy. We did last year.
Work it out, Tracy, with them somehow.
Yeah.
What about cost? What's your intent there?
The what?
The cost?
No,
We eat it.
we didn't.
We did it last year.
According to this letter, we did it last year.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
It's for the honor society anyway.
No.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Do you want that put in the motion?
Yes, please.
Could I have a motion from the board on
I'll
this?
make the motion.
Alcid, motion by Alcid,
I'll second.
second by Brett. Could I have a vote on that, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any nays? Motion passed. Item number 6 is our Route 12 Sewer District Users Ordinance, Amendment number 1. And that's where anybody new hooks into the sewer. There's a one-time fee of $1,000. Am I correct on that, Joe?
Yeah, that's what the proposal is. The whole idea is existing users have contributed towards the debt service on the plan over the years, and connection fee is basically intended for a new user to help contribute towards some of those same costs. So it's not atypical.
So I need a motion from the board on that so we can move forward with that.
We'll need to schedule a public hearing.
Oh, excuse me. We need to schedule a public hearing for the next meeting in April on that.
How much is that? 1,000?
6 o'clock.
Per ED.
6 o'clock.
Joe, that's $1,000 per EDU.
Right, yeah.
Question out here.
Just like we talked about at the committee meeting.
Is that $1,000 whether it's residential or commercial?
Some commercials have more than one EDU.
That's just to hook up to it, then it goes by the rules you have to keep going. Wanna build a house on that road? Not now.
Joe, will they have the opportunity to vary that as time goes on, obviously, and the capital contribution gets increased, they can revisit that.
Sure,
fee when
anytime.
they set their fees every year,
Yeah.
if they want to revisit it.
Okay, just to give you an update, so we're on Route 12 sewer, just to give you an update on Bluestone commercial properties. They are 94% complete on meeting all eligibilities on, as far as zoning and planning. Right now, the main holdup there is getting some clean and potable water for them. And he's doing test wells at the site. So that's the holdup right now, is the water issue. But it looks like everything's moving forward. Okay, and last item is Fourth Coast here on Route 12, about the water and sewer. If we could have an update from Rob and Gus on that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Well, the funding application into rural development will be submitted by April. And what we talked about earlier would be to take the alignments kind of to the next step, so we could begin to hone in on where a pumping station might be located for one thing, and where easements and right-of-way issues with the DOT might be needed. So to actually put on paper where the lines would be along Route 12 and identify clearly, so we can be, as we talked before, as shovel-ready as possible. So,
Will that make us shovel-ready as far as the government's concerned?
well, approvals are always the biggest hurdle. So first, the DOT is an issue. Obviously, right-of-ways and easements and land acquisition are the biggest things. And certainly before any funding is released, they'll want to make sure that that is set. Also, the approvals with the DEC and the Department of Health. So the more of those approvals we can get checked off, the better off we'll be. We will need a little higher level detail certainly as far as the
How long
plan.
of a time estimate to do all that stuff?
You know, that can happen over the next several months, certainly, and again, we'll have review times when we submit it to the Department of Health or the DEC, depending on which it is. They have a time, and I know some of the review times, because of staff cuts at the state level, they've become quite lengthy, so the sooner we can get that in, the better off we are.
So what I'd like to do is get a motion from this, from the board for Gus and Rob to move forward so we can be more shovel-ready as fundings come available, so we can get this application and the water going on Route 12. If you remember, that's what took us so long on Otter Street, that we weren't quite ready when the funding did come available. So I'd like to be ready this time. I think that corridor is a very important part of this town.
We're pretty close to ready, aren't we?
Well,
On the map you were showing me, it looked pretty close.
but the design, the detailed design, which is really subject to the health department and the DEC, that's, you have the district outline, but you don't have a lot of detail on exactly where the lines will be located, the hydraulics that show that the village plant can supply enough water, those kind of details which the health department and DEC will want.
So we're talking water and sewer, where it's needed, right? Or where it's not, I should say.
Again, the sewer will go to the Fisher's Landing plant, generally speaking. Water, at least at this point, is going to come from the village. That's another step, an updated IMA with the village that would include the proposed taking of water, the increased taking of water from the village, and that's another detail that if we could work out now, that will be critical to having a complete funding application.
I think we should do it. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brett,
Second?
Yeah.
seconded by Elsa to move forward with Route 12, water and sewer. Get the application ready. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passed. The last item I have is, David, is it possible we could get the brush pit open by this weekend?
Two reasons. Number one, it's too wet for us to do anything. Number two, that the April 16th is already set with the DEC.
Well, phone's ringing off the hook and they're dumping down there already.
Well, they dump down there.
They dump it all winter.
You know,
When's the 16th, the 17th?
yeah, that's a Monday, isn't it, 16th?
I don't know.
Do we have to set it
You're
in the
not,
deed?
you're not gonna, you can go down there and throw a bag of leaves or something over there, but you're not gonna get in there, even a pickup or anything. It's so muddy down there until we can do some work in there.
So we have to get permission from the DEC that, for a date to open.
All I
it?
have to do is notify them that open and closure dates when we do it.
How
Well,
much?
can we
Fall
move
and
that date
spring.
up this year, seeing the weather's so nice? I mean, you're talking another month. And that's, I think that's kind of foolish, as nice as the weather is right now, they're talking
There
7
you go.
degrees this
I don't have a
weekend.
problem, you can do whatever you want with it, I'm just telling you, you know, residential isn't the problem anyway. If I had my way, they could dump there year round, it's a commercial.
I know, we've discussed that.
As soon as you open that up, commercials in, you're gonna deal with the DEC. We've already got 9 sightings against us right now, because it's basically turned into a garbage dump, because people are abusing it, and it's mostly commercial.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask Joe about. Joe, how big of a deal is it to do a local law so that we
We
can?
talked about that.
Well, we could do the local law, enforcement's the issue.
Yeah, gotcha.
If we do the local law, then the enforcement's gonna fall on us.
Yeah, but you see, everybody goes down there and they know we don't have a law, so they know we can't do anything to them. You know, I mean, we post that we can't take commercials, we tell everybody no commercials, and they all go there.
We can do the local
There's
law,
nothing we
but
can do.
Who's
we
gonna
can do
enforce
the
it?
local law, but how are we gonna?
Who can enforce
enforce
it? We can find some, I mean, we can enforce it, or can't
Well,
our,
we can, you can haul them
can't
into
our zoning
court.
officer enforce it?
Yeah, I don't
If we,
think so.
if we structure it that way?
Well, if we structure it that way, you can do
Right.
that. You can, you know, she could,
I mean, I think we gotta put some signs
you
down
got
there.
it, the only way you're gonna
There's
enforce it, if you
bus
got,
signs, they tore them down.
if you got your own local law, the only way you're gonna enforce it is to haul these people into court and, fine them.
And have
Bottom line.
a fine procedure,
And
right?
that works so well with zoning, that you might as well try it with,
Yeah, didn't work there. Didn't let who's big doc either. Parking.
I'm not
Let me
saying
ask
you can.
How's the other towns handle this situation?
They don't have the brush pit.
Yeah.
That's why
I
they
know
come
it's
to
got a brush
us.
pit.
They
I
stick it there.
Well,
my
they have
personal
something they
opinion,
can
I think
chain
the way
off.
you ought to handle it, the DEC is coming down harder and harder on every year. Let's make part of the problem the DEC. Let's sit down and talk to them, say, look, we have no way of enforcing this, it's gonna cost, you know, we pass laws to do it. We spent hundreds of dollars on signs, it's even had signs up there, no dumping certain dates by order of the town board, you're proud. There's 5 signs up there now say no dumping, we put barrels and they're still dumping there. So the way I look at it, I had this discussion with the DEC last year when they were a little bit upset because there's garbage and trash in there, and I said, well, I'm not sleeping down here. If, you know, if you want us to comply with all your rules and regulations, number one, give us some money to help, and number two, bring your law enforcement down and enforce it, because it's solid waste then, it's not a littering law, it's solid waste, and that's a $1,000 fine. So I think with you and the board, we ought to sit down, and I don't have a problem going to the proper people let's make them, you know, kind of what Joel's saying. I mean, the law's already there, the DEC, let them help us enforce it, and let them take care of the problem, not put the financial burden on our township. Does that make sense?
The DEC is down there writing tickets, because they have written tickets down there in the last 6 months.
I don't believe that. I check DEC every day on News Junkie, and ain't nobody been arrested down there for
Doc tag,
Joe.
anything?
I'll call the DEC tomorrow and I'll set up a meeting with you and I and the DEC and we'll see if we can get this.
You know what I mean? I mean, I think let them offer some funding and some law enforcement down there. They say they have before. I've even had the conservation officers that down there come down. You don't have any proof, you look through the garbage and trash, if you find their name, you know, let them. I mean, they
Well,
crawl
see-
through the woods to check us when we're hunting, let them crawl through down there and check on the
If
ones
we
that
have
are
a
throwing the
local law, we're
garbage.
gonna have the same problem. Yeah, how are you gonna enforce it? It's a proof issue.
I'm just talking about being preventive here, and if we, you know, we have it in place, then I think some of these commercial people will be a little hesitant, especially if we've got a $500 fine if they get caught. And they can't go down there with these trucks that everybody here has been telling us that they're going down there and unload it in 10 minutes. They gotta be there half an hour, 45 minutes to unload it, or
Yeah, but
whatever.
I don't disagree, but you still have to police it. You know, you're gonna just act on a complaint. I mean, we can do the local law, that's not a problem.
I mean, because of the commercials, our whole brush pit for residential people is gonna get screwed up here, is the problem.
We should hunting license to local residents that they can shoot the trucks that hauled in there.
I mean, I don't know what the answer is, I'm just throwing out my
You know,
thoughts on it.
a couple of commercial haulers,
But it's our residents that throw their garbage in.
That would work.
Yeah.
Wood and back.
a couple of commercial
Commercial, you throw it.
haulers we've
No,
had a
out,
problem with.
Yeah.
I've kind of educated them through the DEC. I mean, with these open, outdoor front, there's almost any kind of wood that's sellable now, so it doesn't have to be hardwood. If it's in chips, if the commercial haulers can haul chips in there all day long, DEC doesn't have a problem with that. It's the garbage, the trash, the trees, the stumps, and that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe between the two, maybe, I don't know, get the DEC to, that's my perspective. I mean, you know, we got enough of our own problems and stuff, let's get them in here to help us. They've got a lot more funding than we do. And they're the ones that are forcing them, they're the ones that threaten to fine us and won't give us a burning permit to burn the brush because of contamination. You know, we get cited, last year we got cited 9 times down there.
I'll call them tomorrow and we'll set up a meeting.
That's just my opinion, I mean, it's up to whatever the board wants to do, but it makes more sense to me.
So if my phone rings tomorrow and they wanna know how soon that brush pit is gonna be open, I gotta
Tell you what, I'll make you a deal, if you get them down here tomorrow, that quick, the DEC, I'll buy your lunch.
You won't get them there.
But you didn't tell me when that brush pit's gonna open before the next day, right?
We talked to the DEC.
Well, the only thing I can tell you on that deal, if it stays dry next week, we'll go down there and try to get it ready to open, you know,
All he has to do is
and we can
notify
put it on the
us.
internet and our
Look,
local
that's the best you
paper.
can do?
I don't.
That's all I'm asking.
Because they're gonna get stuck in there, I mean, the way
Right.
it was destroyed so bad down there last year, when you take some fill in there and level it off, and
Okay, that's the best I'm asking for. Okay, I guess we gotta have the highway report.
before I do that, it's pretty simple. You've got, I'll give you a copy that Tracy got some quotes on our paint and stuff for next season that we're trying to get, save a little money. We don't really, isn't anything got a bid, it's not that kind of money, you're talking around $1,100, but just to compare some prices. But the problem is, each one of these quotes don't really match, you gotta kind of pick out the individual costs. Give you a little bit of history then, and Tracy, jump in here if you're not, I didn't get a lot of time to go over this today. Both us and Clayton, even though it's a little bit cheaper, you'll see on the white, that's the top. You've got Ice Builders, that was one company. CSC and Jet Ice. We've used in the past the Ice Builders, we tried to save a little money a couple of years ago. We had a lot of trouble with bleeding, runoff, and everything else. We went back to Jet Ice. It's a little bit more money. Not a lot more money, but it's a little bit more money when you add it up total for the season. Clayton has gone right, Tracy, with, see it, they've had the same problem with this other company. Well, sometimes cheaper isn't necessarily better, And once we build the ice and paint it, we're stuck with it. So we had trouble with applying the stuff that we use. That was from the Ice Builders, correct, Tracy? That's the stuff we had so much trouble applying.
Clayton's had trouble with the other company. The other company is Davis Mechanical, who we deal with for the
I mean,
compressor.
what we would like to do is buy it as it's quoted on Jet Ice. Even though it's a little bit more money, you're talking, if you compare the paint, you're talking, I had this all written down. Here it is. You're talking 1051 jet ice. You're talking 1004 with the ice builders. And you're talking 833.53 with the other one, CSC. We'd like to get it through jet ice because of the quality and everything, and I'm not sure on, oh, the ice builders, they're saying 35 bags, but they aren't quoting how big the bags are. We're not even sure if that'll do that square footage. And again, this is just for some knowledge for you. I mean, we don't have to bid this or anything. We're just trying to shop around. We try to get at least 2 or 3 quotes on everything we buy, anything substantial. The ice builder is the only company that gave us a quote on the mats that we want to buy. We buy mats every year, trying to get till we get all the mats around the rink. So in essence, what we're looking at, what I'm trying to explain to you without totally confusing you, is we'd like to buy the paint products, that quote from Jet Ice for the 1203, because that's including the paint stick, which the other ones didn't quote, and the mats from the ice builders. I got you totally confused?
Yeah, we got the mats before, Tracy?
Yep.
Yeah, I got it.
Did you get a price from are they the same mats as up here?
Yep.
As at the,
No, the ones at Sour Wines are 3/4 inch thick,
yeah,
and the ones that we've been buying for the rink are 1/2 inch thick. We've bought the 3/4 in the past, and trust me, they are heavier and heavier.
how much
You
are
can
the
carry
3/4?
What's that?
How much are the 3/4?
Dave's got that up there in that folder. Same farm center quoted, $39.
Yeah, somewhere I got it here.
$40, I think it was.
Yeah, $39.99 versus 45.
They're heavy, because we have them.
Yeah, that's why we switched and went back to the 1/2 inch when I could finally find them, but they're the only company that has the 1/2 inch.
I'm fine to buy the stuff that Tracy recommends because it's pretty.
So I guess basically I'm asking a question more on 2 things. Can we purchase that paint and that through them, and then whatever you want to do on the mats?
Okay,
The mats, because they're so expensive, if you've been down the rink to see every year, we've been replacing them until we get the whole side done. And
just need a motion from the board to move forward. I don't have any problem with it.
I don't think he needs a motion.
Just go ahead and do it.
Doesn't need a motion?
He's just
Okay.
gonna buy it.
It's an expense, just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Got the prices, did everything we gotta do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session for,
I need a couple things.
okay, just a minute, excuse me, Brent's got a couple things.
Just a question here, you know, we've got these prices on mowing. What's everybody think about putting the ball fields in the prices of mowing?
do what?
Do you mow the ball fields now?
Yeah.
She was
Mow the
saying
ball
about.
fields.
Dana does, yes.
Dana does.
Yeah, with the finished mower that we use at the sewer.
We'll just have to keep an eye on them better.
I was just wondering about if we got a price from them.
We'll do it in-house, we'll keep, just like Elsa said, we'll keep an eye on them
We'll
better.
keep an eye on them better.
We just gotta make sure it gets
That's
done,
all.
because that
What
seems
David's-
to be the big complaint, it's not getting done.
Well,
I mean,
and
I know there's other circumstances and it's wet and other problems, but
we'll just keep a better eye on them and we'll make sure they get done.
Well, we've talked, we're gonna meet with them and actually get a schedule so we know,
Yeah.
because we've gotta coordinate with Dana when he's not running the excavator or, you know, the rotary on the back for the beds, so we can kinda, last year it was, but last year it was very wet. I mean,
can we?
people volunteered trying to mow it with riding mowers and buried them up there, so
Yeah.
we, you
Okay.
know.
All through June, July, it was wet.
Yeah, if you're
And it does, and
basing anything on last year, one you
It's
couldn't
not a work up
mow.
there, it's not a professional
And
ball
it
field.
gra-
I
the
mean, you
grass
got clay and
grew.
rock like everything else up here.
But I agree with Brent, if we keep putting money in them a little bit every year, eventually we'll be caught up and we won't have to do it anymore, and we'll have some nice playing fields.
I mean, they're talking
And it-
about $4,500. If we can put $2,000 or $3,000 a year into those things, I think in a couple of years we'll be.
We'll be in good shape,
You know.
and get that, and get some of those, you know, the old blocks and lumber
Yeah.
out of there that,
We can do all that, that's not a big deal, we can
Yeah.
go up every spring, but.
we'll go up and just get it cleaned up and neaten it up some.
My next question, the gas system for over there that we've gotten prices on. should we put that up for bid and do an official deal for the April meeting to make a decision?
Oh, yeah, you definitely got to bid it.
So we'll have to advertise that, Joe?
Yep.
And go through that procedure.
Yep.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Want to make a motion?
Then we put it up for bid?
Yeah, because we've been trying to, you and I both get quotes, really the only
Yeah.
solid quote we've gotten has been from Bach.
We gotta go through the
There's
legal
two other
process,
companies,
right, Joe?
one in Geneva and one in Syracuse, Liverpool area that I've contacted and haven't got.
Motion by Brunt, seconded by Elsa to go
Thank
ahead
you.
and
Put it out for bid.
put it out for bid for the gas at the highway department.
And we have the right to accept or refuse, right? Even if we don't wanna do it.
Can I have a vote on that for approval?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Disapprove?
Dale, I just got one quick thing in the highway, the rest- it's, you all got it in front of you, it's just the usual cutting
Okay.
brush and that kind of stuff.
Motion passed.
But just to let you know, I know Elsa, I know Doug, and maybe Brent does, you've been at the barn and stuff, but just an example, none of us get on the Attaboy very often, but what I wanna put on here, we had our fuel tank leak on our John Deere, just from corrosion over the years and stuff. And the cheapest price I could get for an aftermarket was $3,500 plus a freight. Now, you're talking something that weighs about 400 or 500 pounds, you're probably usually looking at $4,500. By our guys with their talent welding and fabricating the barn, I bought a sheet of steel and we repaired it for approximately $600. That's even a little high, it was $580 and so. And it's back in service, it's fully functioning stuff, just to let you know, I mean, what they do over above and it does make a difference when you can do a lot of that stuff in-house.
Well, I think you got a great bunch of guys over there. I mean, they're very talented.
We appreciate it.
And no, winter isn't over, I hope it is, but I don't think it is.
Let's hope so. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for legal? Motion by Brett.
I move.